How it feel to be a dad, how it feel to be a man. You provide by any means, and we sticking to the plan. Yeah, I do this for my seed. Come and listen, come and see. Remember, it was just me. Now it's all about we. Lead by example. This for my child. I swear that I got you for life. Went from the court to talking about buckets. Now we talking Pampers and wipes. I really love this though. Look at you and get inspired. You the fuel to my fire. Come here, let me change your diaper. Diaper dash.
Diaper Dad family, what is good? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy GQ.
And you know who it is on the other side. This is your boy Boog, and welcome to Diaper Dash Podcast. GQ, my brother. What's going on, man?
It's popping, man. We here again. The season is started. We ready. We in full effect.
Full effect, stirring the pot, whipping it.
Hey, one question I want to ask you, man, before we get started. Are you in the NFTs?
I'm trying to get into that shit, bro.
Okay.
I'm like, I just got into crypto, like maybe about 2 months.
I remember you say you was in it a little bit like a year ago, and then you kind of like pull yourself out.
Yeah, now I'm like, I don't even fuck with stocks anymore. I'm not fully invested, but I'm invested enough in crypto right now. So if shit pops off, I can make some coin. But NFTs is like a new world. I'm trying to get there. All this Bored Ape shit. I'm like, I gotta wrap my mind around the idea first before I can like get into this.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, we were talking about it in a group chat, just, discussing. And I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck really is this? It's a virtual thing, this, and the third. But then Z had put us on to this one guy that was basically talking about it. They were just asking him the question, like, yo, is this something that people should be like looking into? And he was like, yeah. Like, he was like, this is gonna be probably the next big thing. Like,
yeah,
bullshit.
And that's what it was confusing to me. But the layman's terms for me is that this is a specific piece of artwork that you own forever, basically, essentially. And I just started calculating. It's just like the way you make money and the person off of who you bought it from makes money. It just, that portion of it is still confusing. Like when Tori was like, yo, I made $1 million in a minute. I'm like, yo, what? That is crazy. I'm like, well, what the fuck is this NFT shit? And then like, it still didn't click until recently.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. And listen, anyone that has any information about that or is ahead of the curve, please DM us or something, man. Reach out to me. I want to know about this NFT. But man, what we about to get with tonight, man? Because like I said, the chili, the hot sauce is already in a pot. But we about to stir this shit.
Yo, this is bad, bro. This is the reason why I said last week. This is the reason why like social media is terrible, bro. Like for the strength of like the shit you find is unreal. And
the devil.
Literally the devil. And you know what's crazy? Where I found this piece of this question that was posed was on Facebook. And Facebook, you don't really find shit like this. You usually find like
my baby.
Hey, so hey auntie, happy birthday, da 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 da. Yeah, that's what you find. You don't find what the fuck I found. But anyway, so once again, I'm on social media, I'm on Facebook. I don't know. I got a homie that I used to play basketball with growing up back in the day. I don't know what has gotten in his blood, but like he's really like poking and prodding at the female gender, right? So one weekend, I'm looking at the shit. He posed a question. He said, "It is more difficult to be a father than it is a mother." I was like, all right, cool. So let me get into the comments. So, yo, post only been up for half hour. Yo, there's like 29 comments on that shit. That's big news on Facebook. Either you got mad people you really connected with.
29 comments is a lot.
Either you mad connected with the people that all the people you're friends with, or you really struck a nerve with people.
Or hold on. Or there's really only 14 comments and you commented on each one of them, giving you 28.
No, surprisingly, bro, it was 20 out of the 29 comments, bro. He maybe replied to about 2 of them. So even anything over 20 is like a legit.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
It's hot off the press. So I'm reading through the comments, and ladies, I guess they must have struck a nerve or something, because he must have struck a nerve because they was him alive. But then I started thinking about it, I was like, well, shit, let's bring it to diaper dads, right? So let's talk about, is it more difficult to be a father than it is to be a mother?
You know, like, I know this is diaper dads, right? And
let's just tread lightly with them for at least the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna tread lightly. Women, I'm always kind of on y'all side, and I feel like to be a mother, man, is tough. Yo, to be a father is tough too, man. And like, you can't even do nothing wrong as a man sometimes, yo. Like, if you do something wrong, you're automatically categorized as a bad dad, you know what I mean, or a bad person. But being a mother, man, is
it's a tough.
I think it's like 50-50 though.
You know what the deciding factor is going to be, and was going to wait a little bit further into the conversation before I brought it out. But this is the deciding factor. There's more pressure applied to a father than there is a mother, I think. And the reason why I say this, and yeah, there's pressure to both sides, right? Like, I'm not discrediting any mother out there. I think you guys you run the ship. We steer the boat, and you handling the crewmen, you handling everyone getting fed, the bills paid, lights is on, food on the table, food refrigerator. Yeah, that's good too. And we do the same as well nowadays. But the only pressures that we receive is that if we leave, I feel like it's always something that we've done. Like, majority of the time, people point the finger at us if for some reason it doesn't work out with whatever the situation may be, if it's with the mother, you know what I'm saying? That's the only deciding factor that's different for me.
Yeah, I think it definitely is a lot of pressure on a man to be a better father, or just to be a good father or parent. But for a mother, I feel like it's kind of like they're kind of already like entwined in it already because they had the baby. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they're already one with the baby. So it's like being a bad mother is like basically throwing your kid away. It's like, I don't really see what bad they can do. You know what I mean? Like, but like for a father, like, you just not being there, you not supporting them, or even if you don't even support the mother of your child, they'll say you're a bad father.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's really no breaks into any part of our day, right? Or any part of our life, like, or any part of our lifestyle, I'll say. Like you said, women are already one with child. They already have that nurture versus nature factor, or whatever that shit is. And
yeah,
that. But it's like, for us, it's like it's reverse. They're not reverse. It's like, to me, it almost seems backwards. Like, we don't really get any leeway, right? So, like, one of the comments that was said underneath the post, he was like, "Yo, if men screw up, it's shame on a man, and you know what I mean? Like, better correct. He has to be on his game 24/7. But if it's a woman, it's okay. You get there's always a next time. Like, it's a softer way of like saying like it's okay. Like, for us, it's like, yo, you didn't do X, Y, Z. You're supposed to pick so and so up, and at such and such time you got there later. Then it's like, shame on you. Like, I'm raining hell on you. But if it was a mother, it's like, oh. And I started thinking about it. I was like,
Nah, they definitely have a point. And you know what? I think it also goes back to what we talked about, like just the upbringing of a man, right? And it's not, you don't get a lot of chances when you're growing up as a man, right? Like, yo, if you like forgot to bring the trash in, or you did something wrong at school, it's always a one-time tell, and that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else from you. For women, girls, it's a little bit more softer for them. You know what I mean? It's always a second chance. It's always, okay, next time you'll get it done, or you know, like, hey, like, it's okay. Let me explain to me what happened. You know what I mean? But for men just growing up in general, it's always like, you got to know it. It's like, nigga, did you not know that? And it's like, I didn't know that. And then the next thing is like, are you stupid? And it's like, no, I'm not stupid, but like, educate me, like, teach me so that the next time I know exactly what to do. I made a mistake. I'm human. I'm a first time parent, but like, don't down me for making a mistake and then trying to downplay the character for me being a father, you know what I mean? Or being a man just because I did that. So I think, it has a lot to do with the upbringing, man. Like, as men, you get a lot of pressure on you to be a man.
And funny story. So, like, I'm infamous. So, like, we got a whiteboard on our refrigerator. So, like, we need something because our lives are so crazy. We just write it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, so whatever, cool. Anytime I go to the store, I'm almost like guaranteed to forget at least one fucking item on that list, or I won't take a picture of the list and I end up forgetting something. And Ashley's like down my throat about it. It's like, you keep it by. There's a list on the board for reading, da 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 da. But when I asked Ashley, like, hey, when you go upstairs, and this is a true fucking story, Ashley, can you go upstairs? You grab me a flosser so I can floss my teeth when you go into the bathroom. She'll be gone for like 20 minutes. She'll take a shower, come back downstairs with nothing in her hands.
My bad.
And so it's, oh, well, I forgot. And I was like, yeah, I know you forgot. I asked you to do something 5 seconds ago, like 20 minutes ago. Take 5 seconds, but you forgot you literally forgot in 5 seconds. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People don't, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm like, nah, the hell with that. Like, she's like, well, you forget groceries when you go to the grocery store. And I'm like, cool, and I'm okay with that. But that's a long process. Like, it takes like 30 minutes to walk to the grocery store, like, and then check that list. You be there forever. You don't want to be there forever. Get in, get the fuck out. I actually do something and within 5 seconds you already forgot about what I asked. Like, hey, I just need a throw it down the steps. You don't even got to come downstairs. Just throw it at me. I'll pick it off the ground, put it on my mouth. But it's like, it's so much fun.
I think, but I feel like also, man, as men and women, we also got to just understand that it's normal for us to make a mistake, right? That's normal, especially as being a parent. But I also would say too, I'm going back to the men's side. They also feel like men can handle any type of criticism, anytime, anywhere. And I don't think that's fair. That's something I don't think is fair. And they always are kind of a little bit soft or more emotional towards women and some of the actions that they do for their kids. Like, for example, say a woman left her child in the car in the summertime. Everyone is terrified. They're upset, but they're also like, yo, what is she going through? Is she not right in the head? Like, we got to get her some help. But a dad, on the other hand, it's like, does this nigga not know better? Like, lock him up. Like, what is he doing? And they expect that to be okay. Like, just like I always talked about, like, when you leave a hospital, right? This nurse is giving the mother everything in the world. Yes, I understand she just had the baby, but every support in the world for her to contact people and reach out to people if things get hard or if things get difficult, which is understandable. But there's also another parent too, There's a father there that he's going through a new lifestyle, a new change in his life. He might not adapt to it. But like I said, the world just expects men to just like adapt and just understand criticism, Anything as a parent, like, yo, why you ain't do that? Just take it on the chin and keep it moving. That's not fair, man.
And you know what? And then it goes to the next thing, which is our mental health, right? So when it comes to parenthood, we're like you said, we're supposed to have this macho man. I can take it on the chin, keep moving, and put people first, put everybody before me, before I worry about my general happiness. Like it's like if I say something about like, hey, I don't think this is right. Like, am I going to get ridiculed by it? Or if I don't know something, I say I don't know something. Am I going to be made fun of? Am I going to be talked to like I'm stupid? Like, it's just so many what if questions. It's almost like that like introverted kid that's like afraid to speak their mind. Like they're just like, the hell with it. I keep it inside. Like, oh man, I want to make friends. I want to say hi to them, but will they think I'm crazy, or like will they think that I'm a weirdo? Like I'm a weirdo, or will they be my friend? Like we never know. And it's like that's what keeps us going insane, bro. I think that's part of it. Like we don't know. We don't have any outlets. We never really have an outlet when you think about it.
That's why we're here at Diaper Dads, guys.
This is why we're here. This is why we are in business. But what I am saying though is that like before us, and even before just like in general, because now it's like this whole movement of men are like really starting to like not soften up, but like they're starting to let their guard down and talk about their feelings a lot more, which is I think is probably the best thing a man could ever do.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus we have to be, because we're told that we have to be so strong. It's like my homie Will, shout out Will, he was like, yo, who does the boss go to when everyone's dependent on the boss? Meaning that like everyone's dependent on the boss to take care of everything, but like when everyone's leaning on the boss to make sure everything's in line, who does the boss go to after that? You know what I'm saying? Like who does he talk to about, hey, who does he lean on, essentially, right?
Yeah. What's the answer to?
There's no answer. But that's the whole point. Is like, who do you go to? It's like, yo, the man in the household. It's like I keep that shit on. Like, cool. Everyone's dependent on me. But do I like? Who do I go to talk about how I feel? You know what I'm saying? If these people are
Definitely,
huh?
Definitely. Usually it's their mothers, yo. I feel like men. That's something that a lot of people do. Like even myself, like. Just call up your parents, man. Just talk to your parents. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's like almost like, but the thing about it is though, with going to your parent, it's like they're already understanding. Like there's going to be no judgments. There's not going to be any like you don't have to go look for any like validation or acceptance because your parents are going to understand what you go through, right? Like who besides your parents can you reach out to? Like, hey. Like for instance, like me and you, right? Like if I'm going through something, you the first person. Shit, we sit after the podcast. We'll sit talk for fucking hours if time would permit us to, just about life and like goals and like things of that nature. You know what I mean? But not everyone does that. So like
yeah, and I think that's the transition that we were talking about in season 2. Just like why are men doing that? And once again, yo, it just comes from our upbringing, man. Just think about it, yo. Like for women. It's so natural and normal for them to be around their girls and just be like, yo, like, I just ain't feeling good, girl. Or like, my mind ain't right. It's normal to be like, oh, like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Like, blah, blah, blah. It's just normal for them to be like that. For men, it's always that thought of being judged, right? Being judged, or it's just like, it's not comfortable for us to actually say that, like, yo, man, like, man, I've been depressed since I had a kid. You know what I mean? Or, yo, man, like, I've thought about, killing myself. Just like, I'm just taking it to that extreme just because, like, those are things that men go through. And like you said before, it's something you just got to take a chin on. You just got to take it on the chin and just be like, yo, this is something I've been dealing with. And that's really it, So
unhealthy.
I think it starts a lot with our upbringing, man. Like we have to change, our young kids, young boys to just be a little bit more vocal, more communication, just expressing their feelings. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, yo, like, I got hurt today, yo. I'm not feeling too good. Not shake it off. You'll be okay. But like, yo, like what happened? Show me where it hurts. Or, You know, can I do something to make it feel better? You know what I mean? We gotta kind of do that a little bit more, just growing our young men and just growing our young boys, I feel like, because that would then transition to them being a little bit more open when they get to our age or they get into a certain situation. They know how to communicate their feelings, because there's so many women out there that be like, yo, men don't even know how to communicate their feelings to me. Like, I'm dealing with this guy, he can't really explain this, that, and the third, and it's like, all right, he can't do that, but let's figure out why he can't. You know what I mean? Like, what actually is the trigger for that? Is it because you can't, communicate with him, or you got a bad delivery, or is it tone or the atmosphere? It could be so many things, but we got to change that, man.
Yeah, it is. And that's the separation. Like, I know, like, both sides of being a parent are difficult. Don't get it misconstrued, don't get it twisted. I get it. But that is the deciding point right there, is the fact that men have to, it's like, oh, cool, you don't want to see your kid this weekend. It's very easy for a woman to go online, but, oh, he's a deadbeat. It's very easy for them to go do that. Well, it's very easy for them to, like, throw dirt on your name. Very easy for them to do that. I think with men, we're so hesitant to do that. One, because of society. Two, because I don't even have a number two. It just doesn't. I don't even think it would feel right. Like, it wouldn't even feel right for us to say, unless she's really, like, low down, like, you feel me. But it's very quick for a man to be like, you know what, cool, like, she didn't understand this, so it's fine. Like, we're gonna talk about it. For a man, it's like, oh, cool, you fucked up once. Nah, we gotta talk about it. We gotta ridicule you, and we're not gonna talk about how you feel about what you did. You know what I mean? Like, there's never ever an explanation, a place for us to have the explanation. That's what I'm trying to get at. To, like,
yeah, man.
To say, hey, this is the reason why I did so and so, or why I acted, or why I did, why we were moving in so way, or why I made such decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why we should go with it. It's never an explanation. It's either we're okay with it or we're not. And when we're not talking about it. We're going to go a different direction. And then it's like, okay, well, what was the point of me wasting my breath? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Like, just that alone sometimes is just frustrating for a man, right? And it can make just parenting difficult, right? And we're just saying that one aspect in a perfect world. So imagine if you have multiple things going on in your life, like financial wise, you're not there, or mentally you're not there, or you're having issues with the mother of your kid, or just family issues. That's just a few things that can tie into things not going your way and just making you feel down about the situation that you're in, which is a good situation, because being a father is great. You know what I mean? It's a great opportunity of life. But there's so many little things that I think a lot of people overlook, just because we are a man, we are masculine. We do take on a lot, and we're supposed to take on a lot as providers. But sometimes, man, it's difficult. It's difficult, and we need to make that outlet a little bit more, and be vocal about that. To say, yeah, we need help, or my mistake. I did that. I wasn't educated on that. Can you help me more on that? Or just say, hey, my fault. And that's one thing I noticed too, man. Like, I don't always hear us say, and when I say us, I mean men, like, my fault, my bad, I fucked up. Like, that's something I be saying now too, man. Just be like, yo, like, for example, Jasmine texted me. She called me today. She's like, yo, I need you to take the fish out. I need you to take one packet out, and I need you to put it in the water. Whole time I'm typing shit up. I'm like, yeah, yeah. All right, babe, I got you. And long story short, she comes home and the fish is just out. She's like, Didn't I tell you to put this in the water and take one packet out? And I'm like, yeah, my bad. Yeah, that's my bad. I wasn't listening. You know what I mean? And it's just like, all right, I said that. What the fuck else you gonna say now? You gonna throw this shit in my face? Because now I could really get on you and just be like, I just said my bad. I fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't about to go back and forth.
Well, it is funny when it's like, when you try to like rectify it and say like, I'm sorry or okay. Like, that's a big one around here. Like, oh, we actually will talk about something and I can see us getting like, I can feel some tension. I'll just say okay. I'll just say okay. I don't know what it is about saying okay, but it's just maybe I should start rephrasing. You know, I'm very bad at like voicing my opinion and saying like my delivery's all fucked up because I'm fucked up. I don't think that like me. I'm the person that I will hold that motherfucker until this shit gets to fucking here, and then like one little thing may go wrong, and it's like fucking here's everything, and I just unload. I'm very bad at like voicing my opinion, not opinions, vocalizing my emotions. So when it gets to a point where it's like, all right, instead of me saying that, like, hey, you know what, I fucked up. It's fine. I'm sorry. Or, you know what I mean? Like, or taking accountability, I'll just be okay. I'll just say okay. And,
okay.
Yeah. And then that shit, for some reason, that should be taken actually off. So I got to change my verbiage up about that. But that's actually a good one, though. It's like, I really like, all right, okay. I just be like, okay. It's like, okay, so now you're being dry with me. I'm like, no, I'm just saying okay. Like, I understand what you're saying. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I fucked up. Even now, like, I don't even want to say I fucked up, but like,
yeah, like, you didn't even want to say it. You were like, bitch, I'm not saying it.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, just okay. Like, it's when I say okay, it's just a generality of like, all right, I'm beat down now. But that's in my mind. Her mind is I'm trying to just dead the conversation and keep it moving. So
that's funny, yo, because since I've been married, I don't know if I've told someone in my life as much as I told my wife that I'm wrong and she's right. Right. And for me, that's just looking back on it, that's big because I believe that I'm right on a lot of things. But like I said, just understanding that I'm wrong and that I could deflate the issue, that does more to me. You know what I mean? Like I've caught myself a lot of times just saying, you know what? You're right, babe. My bad. Or, you know what, yo, I wasn't listening. You're right, I wasn't. You know what I mean? And we'll just joke about it. She'd be like, yeah, I know you wasn't because you didn't do that shit.
Yeah.
but like, it's an evolution of maturity. Like I've always, talked about just maturity, even from our first episode. When I say that word, so many people get tight. It's like, yo, what the fuck you mean I'm not mature? I'm like, yo, just listen, yo. Just like, I understand you have mature ways, but there's also immature things that we do as humans that we don't even understand, like not taking fault for something. It's like, yo, you a man, right? You a woman, right? You know you did something wrong. Yo, be mature and take fault for it. You know what I mean? Like, that's maturity sometimes.
And that's one battle I'm fighting now, is that because of the pandemic, because I live in a new place when the pandemic started, I don't have any friends. I mean, I got Ashley's family here. I don't have like my external family, and I can't really do much because the kids aren't really vaccinated. They're not vaccinated. What the fuck I'm talking about? They're not vaccinated. So I'm home. I eat, shit, sleep, work. And at one point in time, I was working out in this motherfucker. So when they leave, it's like, I don't have nobody to answer to here in this house. It's just me. So like, I'm already convinced and telling myself I'm right. So when Ashley comes in and tries to tell me I'm doing something wrong, I get very flustered because I'm so used to not answering to people throughout the day that I'm like conditioned to just be like my own best friend. I sound crazy as shit for telling people this, but like, it's true. Like, the pandemic fucked me up in the brain. Like, it's just me around here. And my best friend is fucking FaceTime. I call you, JP, Will. I FaceTime so much because I haven't been able. I've been isolated from the world for a long time, and I really don't have any friends. So it's like now, like when it comes to like telling to like to tie it back to like telling me like saying you're right and I'm wrong. I have a very hard time doing it because I answer to myself all day long. So
Yeah, man.
I'm dealing with. I'm trying to break that barrier and get back to my old self. And I'm okay with being accountable for shit. But for some reason lately, for the last 6 months, it's been like, well, I don't have to answer to nobody all day. I'm here by myself, fucking YouTube, Diaper Dads. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to answer to people. So when
Yo, let me ask you this, man. And it's so crazy. Do you think if there wasn't COVID or a pandemic that you would recognize that?
it wouldn't even have to be something to be recognized, something to recognize, because there would have been other stress relievers away from like outside of my like I wouldn't have this feeling of just like being isolated and by myself and only answering to myself and you know what I'm saying, doing things how I want things to be done. So it's
Gotcha.
like when I'm around other people, even when I am around, and I'm not saying that like I completely did a 180 and turned into a whole different person. I'm still that same person. I still bend over backwards for my homies. Like I'm still very, very social. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm still there in that aspect of like having friends and shit, I'm still there. But sometimes when it comes to like answering shit, like getting shit done, I do it my way. And I don't have nobody to I want to explain myself. So like when it comes to like certain things that Ashley maybe we're trying to do the same thing. Maybe my way takes a little bit longer and Ashley's way is being quicker, but with her way being quicker and her telling me how to correct shit, I like fucking like it gets me real flushed and I get real tensed up about it. I don't know why, and I can't explain why I do it. But I really am like trying to work to get that shit corrected. Moving forward, because this just I gotta like the telling me this shit's temporary is not it's not helping at this point. like I keep telling myself it's temporary, but you can only tell yourself it's temporary for so long for you to like really like all right, okay, I'm cool. But yeah, no, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Just be able to sit back and just you now that you say it, like I don't even think I've ever said that I was wrong. Maybe I've said it like a handful of times. And it wasn't even like,
man, that's
right. It wasn't even like on some shit like I was trying to say I was right, but more so just like, no, I'm not feeling that. Like it's just no, I'm not feeling it. And I thought that was a way of like me showing my emotion. I'm so used to not explaining myself or like showing my emotional side to Ashley when it comes to like the parenting portion of it. It's like I literally my words either come out too harsh or the point doesn't come out too clear.
Yeah, man, it's definitely an adjustment for not you, man, for a lot of people. Even me when I first was doing it, but you know, I just realized like, listen, I'm just tired of this bitch. Nah, I'm just like, man, listen, I know I'm wrong. And sometimes it's kind of like you kind of talked about it like a few episodes ago. You were like, yo, Jasmine ever kind of like throw you a bone to just like make you feel good sometimes? It's kind of like that, yo. Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, I might not be 100% wrong, but you know, like I'm wrong. Like even with the fish thing, I could have easily been like, yo, I wasn't a mean. I wasn't even really listening. You were just talking. But I was just like, you know what? You're right. My bad. I didn't do that shit. Cook that shit up so we can eat it. But yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. My bad, man. I be laughing about that shit because I really be thinking that shit when that shit be going down. Like I'm like, yeah, my bad, man. Like
that's our thought process. But when it come out, like we was like, nah, I did what you asked me to do. You wanted it out, right? I know it ain't cookable right now, but I brought it out, right? Like, give me some.
Yeah, I brought it out, man, but you had to cook that shit up.
We're so okay with just getting some credit for some shit instead of like being fully right or fully wrong. Like for your situation, right? Like
it's perfect.
You brought the fish out, like Jazz told you, put the fish. She gave you what 3-4 steps. Take the fish to get your ass up. Take the fish out the fucking freezer, unwrap it, put it in water, right? Your ass took it out the freezer, put that bitch on the counter with no plate. Probably that shit probably puddle everywhere before she got and most men there'd be like, well, shit. Just be grateful that I took the fucking fish out the freezer and it just throw the bitch in the microwave for a minute and it'll be cookable. We could throw this bitch in the grill, be cool. Instead of just being like, you know what? I didn't fully follow through with her direction.
Yeah. Cause then it saves an argument too, right? Or it also makes them feel like, okay, like this nigga understanding that he did wrong. Like, okay, cool. And then it's no more back and forth. It's like, yo, I was wrong. Cool. Like, it's not really a big deal. Motherfuckers about to go on their way and like not even think about this shit no more. But I thought that was a great example because it's just little things like that all the time. Like, I'll give you another one. So when I do Nova's hair in the morning, I hate to mess that shit up. And putting a hat on messes that shit up.
All the way.
So what I do is I bought her these earmuff things like that, basically like headbands, like kids' headbands. They like wrap around her whole head and cover her ear and not the top of her head. So there's some days that I'll just put that shit on. And Jasmine tells me put a hat on her. I just put that shit on because it looks good. And Jasmine will pick her up and Jasmine picks her up every day. And you know, when she picks her up, you know, the daycare lady's giving her what she came in with. And she'll come in, she'll be like, oh, hey, what's up, babe? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you ain't put a hat on her today, did you? I'm like, my bad, man. I just
the thing is like when with men, like we get so like when we do something, we like that's the end of it. But let Jasmine come through. Let you be doing Nova's hair in Jasmine's home, and you put the headband on her, and Jasmine see that shit, take that shit off and put a hat on. And no one, you will erupt. Your fucking face will turn completely upside down.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what it is. And you know what? Women don't do that shit because they're trying to be assholes about it. I feel like maybe sometimes they do. Maybe sometimes they don't.
Oh, sometimes for sure. The ass is trying to just say it just to say it.
And it's no different than us doing some shit to piss our women off. Like it's innate. It's part of being in a relationship. But it's like we gotta be okay with like maybe she's right. Just maybe she's right.
Yeah. And also too, man, it rubs off on each other, right? It's like Jazz also sometimes has a thing like I might say something like, yo, like, can I not just say don't have her do that shit? She'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yo, like, we know what she's doing is wrong. Like, what you saying? And, now, it kind of rubs off on her. She'd be like, yeah, that's right. You did say that, my bad. I'm just like, yo, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Because it's so quick. The first thing, like, for example, I might say something like, yo, why you letting her rip up the paper, like, over here, over there? She'd be like, she's just a kid. I'm like,
yo, that shit bro. That shit kills me. And they're just, the other day, the kids, for some reason, feel like they got to fucking move out the house every time they leave to go to their grandparents. I don't know what this thing is. Like, they ain't got no fucking toys there, anything. Like, they act like they going on a camper trip. They bring a blanket, a water bottle. Well, we pack them water for the car ride. But they bring a blanket, fucking every damn toy. Like, Bo, bro, he does his shit in the morning. Like, all right, Bo, let's get your boots on. Let's throw your jacket on. Let's get out the door. He, like, runs quick as shit around the room and grabs whatever he could find. Like, everything's going to be gone when he gets home. I don't know why we do this shit. But one morning this week, matter of fact, I just had enough of it. I was like, no, she doesn't need that shit. Like, she wanted to bring her blanket, this big ass long blanket. I'm like, why are you bringing this in the car? And she's like, she's just 2 years old. And in my mind, I was like, so what? Like, who gives a shit? She's 2 years old. It's like, she's not wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
She's not wrong.
It's like, I know, and we worked on that, and we're working on that with Bo, because with Bo and with his expression of emotions, well, say he's not misbehaving. He's not. I don't think he's bad. If you ask the right person, he's a terror, but he's not really bad. He's just very busy. Needs to be on his own. But he does this shit. He keeps snacks out, just like when Noah Rose ripping paper. Bo likes to take all the food pouches, like the snack pouches. He likes to put all them shits on the floor. He just takes them out and just sits in them. I don't know what it is, the infatuation behind it, but he likes to do it. We used to get on his case. I was like, yo, we gotta start letting loose on him a little bit. Like, he's not broken, he's not bleeding, he's not bruised. Like, there's no mess on the floor, but just picking up pouches. Just let him be. He's a kid, and it goes vice versa in certain situations. So, yeah, man, it's very funny. It's very funny. You fucking do something, and then 5 minutes later, like, you put him in some clothes. 5 minutes later, they come down a whole new outfit. You're like, yo, what? What just happened? They just piss themselves, they shit themselves. Like, no, they're not warm enough clothes. Oh my God. In my mind, I'm like, I'm so bad at like casing my emotion that bitch just sits on my face. I'm like, all right.
Body language.
I know. I get that from fucking Ramona Davis. She's the worst at it. She's worse than I am. We just got this thing where it's not right. It just don't seem right to us. We just got this look on our face. But yeah, nah. One thing I wanted to ask you, so we were talking about earlier in the episode how we need to be more vocal about our emotions and like what our daily struggles are, right? What is one battle you're fighting right now?
Patience. Just cause like we were talking about earlier, just like you might say something, you want someone to do something for you, or express something in a relationship, and the next thing is for that person to basically hear you out and try to do it, right?
Right.
If that person isn't doing it after a certain amount of times, I can't be patient anymore. I got to be selfish, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm battling with right now, like patience over selfishness. And it's tough, man. It's tough. But
and I'm glad it's good that you recognize it. One thing I will say about fatherhood is that it's when you recognize where your battles that you deal with, your struggles you deal with on a daily basis, that's half the battle. And then the other half is correcting it, right? Like trying to figure out ways to innovate and change yourself so you can, you know what I'm saying, progress in your relationship and in fatherhood. So it's really, I'm happy you recognize that, bro. That's big because you always tell me like, yo, you got to have patience. And the fact that you're dealing with patience yourself says a lot.
Yeah, man, that's just something, like I said, man, I've come a long way from the old Shane, you know what I mean? And maybe it's because of COVID, or maybe it's because being around Nova a lot, kind of calmed down. But yeah, man, just patience, that's really been it. And, I think one thing that makes me not understand the situation is normal, or I'm somewhat right about it, is that Jasmine agrees about it, right? So she agrees that what I'm feeling and the situation, like I have the right to feel that way. That is big. Now that's great to me because
that's huge.
Yeah, because a lot of people be like, yo, like blah, blah, blah. Like, can he be thankful? And it's like, nah, like I hear where you come from. You right, you valid. You know what I mean? So to me, that's like, all right, yo, cool. Like I've done my due diligence. I've done patience. I've done everything I could do. The next point is I gotta be selfish because I have one life to live. And if I'm not truly happy, I can't fulfill this life then, right? And yeah, it sounds crazy, but it's real. It's realistic. You know what I mean? It's realistic, and that's just the situation that sometimes we deal with, but you just got to communicate it. So, you know, like I said, man, I'm in a position where like I've done what I got to do. And right now it's just like teamwork. But at the same time, hey, like, where does patience stop? That might be another topic that we talk about. Like, where does patience stop in a relationship?
And
you know,
what's crazy is that to go back to like you were talking about, like with your happiness and like you only have one life to live. Like I gotta be like at a certain point, I gotta turn this shit around, and I'm gonna do what I need to do regardless. I think that like fathers, we normalize losing ourselves, and it didn't dawn on me until you said that, because everyone depends on us to you know what I mean, emotionally. Your partner leans on you sexually, you know what I'm saying, physical touch, having like financially, like you're pulled in so many directions that it's almost like we normalize not being selfish when it should be the other way. Not necessarily being selfish, but taking care of ourselves first and then taking care of everybody else. I think that we don't have that fine balance of like a 50-50, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take care of y'all, but I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. And when we go do X, Y, and Z, we oftentimes feel guilty for doing X, Y, and Z, right? So like for me, like I got a slew of trips lined up coming up, right? I gotta go home. We're gonna do the whole like with the wedding and everything else. I gotta come home, so we gotta do a tuxedo fest. We got that bro time, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. It's like I was afraid to ask Ashley if I could go to Arizona in June. Like we already had talked about it, and it was already like, okay, cool. But I was so scared to bring that shit up again because I thought the answer was going to change. And then it was going to be of like, how am I need to take care of myself at some point. Like we normalize losing ourselves so much that it's like, okay, cool. Like some dads, like those dads that be in the park, drink coffee, they be looking so tired, so deadbeat. Like they're not deadbeat, but they just look so dead, and like they're so like emotionless on their face that they don't have, like they're not enjoying life. And I think it's because we're so conditioned at a certain point, we get conditioned to just, it's not about us anymore. Like it's always
that's what I want to talk about, man. Like before we had talked about, I told you to write down in the notes, but also like how long is patience? Like that all ties into each other, because just to like touch it on like the surface a little bit. Society, women, they believe that a man is supposed to do all for their family and their kids, and then there is no like other life. Like you just do what you're supposed to do, right? And yes, those men out there are incredible. They're strong, but is that really life? You know what I mean? Like, yo, like it's crazy, yo, because that's why I was telling you, I'm like, yo, write this down, because it's like, yo, damn, yo, hats off, yo, like you really be staying home as a dad, or yo, you did all of that for the family. And just like how you said, like the reward is him doing that for his family, but also the other side of it is like, yo, he just not feeling good. But is that normal? But people normalize that shit, yo.
Is it like, does anyone feel bad that this motherfucker's, yo, I
they don't, because they're always going to be like, yo, the family was taken care of. And it's like, but yes, you're right. But like,
wouldn't care about me. Yo, I was just thinking about this shit today, bro. I literally was just thinking
just touch the surface on it, yo. Just touch the surface.
Yeah, we touched the ting on that one, but yo, I literally was just thinking about that shit. Like, yo, does anyone care about me at all? Like,
yeah, that's why I was pointing. I had told you to write it down, because I was just thinking about it. Like, yo, there's so many men that are like, throughout the years, yo, they did what they supposed to do and beyond. And it's like, people rewarding them for that, but like on the other end, yo, like he probably was miserable.
Homie looks crazy like that. I'm saying, you ever like go to a park and you like see those dads that they look like they just doing the best faking they can. You know, damn well they need to do something else at their time. Like then it's like you do all this shit and it's like, does anyone ever stop to say, hey, you're doing a good job? Ever. Like, have you ever, not to get too deep into the subject, but like, have you ever been told, hey, you're doing a good job as a parent?
Not to the extent. It's kind of like, okay, I see you. You doing your thing. That
you see, yeah. That's not what I said. See what I'm saying? Like, no one ever sits back and, hey, you're doing a good job. But I bet you can ask Jasmine. Somebody has told Jasmine that she got a better response than, hey, you're doing your thing. I guarantee you. But hey, you're just think about like when you go through your day to day, and like even at home, like with Jasmine, Nova Rose. I mean, Nova Rose. We can't really say Nova Rose because she's too. But like everyone around you, like in your immediate circle, has anyone ever just say, "Hey, you're doing a good job"? I don't think so. I don't think I have.
You know what? My mom has, yo. My mom actually said that one time. She was like, yo, you're doing a really good job with Nova, yo. My mom is like the only person to probably say that, yeah.
And your mom's gonna say that because she's your mom. And the same reason my mom says because she's my mom, and it is genuine. Don't get it twisted. But it's just crazy to think about that shit. But anyway, back to we're gonna touch that subject when we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But one battle that I'm dealing with right now, that I'm starting to work my way through and navigate through it, is acceptance by my own kids. And it's going to sound crazy, but every kid goes through a phase of they just want mommy, right? Like there's gonna be times when No Rose she wants Jasmine to give her bath. She only wants you to dress her. She doesn't want you to cook dinner. She wants you to be at the table waiting for her. She wants mommy to do this. She wants mommy to do that, mommy to do that. And you try to intrude on that, and No Rose is not having that. I am the most sensitive person when it comes to that, bro.
Really?
And the reason why I am is because I'm trying to, I almost take it as like disrespect. And it's nowhere, like talking about it out loud, like knowing damn well it should never get to that level. I take it as disrespect because I didn't have that involved dad like how I want to be, right? Growing up. So because I didn't have it, I want them to have it. And me thinking that just not just by providing, but playing with them, being in their face, you know, doing these things like all across the board that sometimes they may not want that. And I take it the worst way. Like I'm ready to fight like a grown man, bro. I don't know why I'm so sensitive to it, bro. But I think it's
you explained it. You explained it. It's like you never have it, and now you're giving it to them, and it's like, yo, y'all not appreciating this. But at the same time, like I always tell you, they just not at the level to understand it, you know. Exactly. Even if you said that, they'd be like, huh? They wouldn't like. I think when they get to a level like, dang, I can't even say at what level they understand that because my nephew just turned 5. I don't even think he understands it. You know what I mean? Like, you not gonna understand that till shit.
You're damn near in your teens. But for some now,
man, you realize like, oh my God, my dad does so much for me.
And I really take that shit hard, bro. And I turn into the biggest fucking just baby about the shit, bro. I can't. I have a hard time dealing with that shit, bro. That's my biggest battle that I'm facing now. Besides patience, which I think you're always going. I think patience is always going to be a uphill battle.
You know, one thing I can say though is, and this is probably true for a lot of parents. Ashley's probably always gonna have the upper hand though, because she's around them more, right? So like when she leaves for the day, even though she leaves for the day, she leaves with them and they go over their parents' house, over her parents' house. So like that's just like that right there is like upper hand, like motherfuckers is they're gravitating towards Ashley 24/7.
Yes.
So like like even when they come home now, they still around. I already know they still there. So it's like it's normal for them. And it's like, what can I do now? And the next thing you can do is like, yo, I gotta be around them more. And
yeah, but it's like, okay, cool. If I've already I work from here for the reason that I can get a break from them, right? Because I can't. So I'm separating myself so I can have that time to where,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I could I could work them over a parent's house, but mentally it's not healthy for
too
me.
much. Yeah, definitely not.
So like it's like I have to draw a line in what our schedule. My schedule being so flexible that I'm always around on the weekends, and I'm always, even when as soon as they walk in the door, we're playing. You know what I mean? So I'm making up that time throughout the day, and it's not that they're spending more. I guess me and Ashley spend about the same amount of time with them throughout the day. Well, maybe not because she comes home with them. So yeah, nah, it was bad, bro. I was like, the hell with this. This I can't. And the thing about it is that I can't just be like for you and Jasmine, like no, Rose, cool. You go, cool. If you want to be with Jasmine, cool. I can go walk. You can walk away. It's a double-edged sword for me. I can't. If I walk away, Ashley's stuck with like two kids, getting two kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like if they don't want anything to do with me at bad time, like as far as getting them dressed or bathing them, then she's stuck doing everything. And then I start feeling bad because I just left her by herself with
To
them.
do it.
And I'm like, Ashley, I got to figure out. So I got to a point where like me and Ashley, like now it's gotten a lot better. But like we got to a point now, Ashley, like, listen, if for some reason they want me, I'll leave, let them be. You can go do something else around the house, whatever it is. And then if I need you for something, I'll call you. Cool. That's all you have to tell me.
Yeah, like do something around the house that Ashley does that you can do, like that she doesn't have to do.
Right.
Like, yo, like if I'm trying to do something for us getting ready, instead of me just being like, yo, all right, yo, Jasmine, no one want to go with Jasmine. Instead of me letting that happen, me sit on the couch and wait for them, I'll immediately be like, all right, yo, babe, like what stuff you need me to put in the backpack? You know what I mean? Getting the backpack ready, this, that, and the third. So that way when she's finished, she comes downstairs, she doesn't have to be like doing all that shit. I just got that shit ready and I'm just like, all right, yo, let's go, babe. Like, let's just roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just simple shit like that. Like, yo, like, what shoes y'all wearing? You want me to just put the shoes at the door? Or like, yo, babe, what you need? You need me to get your bag or the coats or whatever? Like, all right, I'm about to go warm the car up or just little shit like that, man.
Yeah,
like women, they would do all of that shit if they would do all that shit and not say a motherfucking word. That's the part that
it makes it difficult to see who's better, right?
Yo, but that's the part that I would say, man, it's hard being a woman because being a mother, man, because yo, damn, man, they so powerful.
And
they do so much, but they're so powerful, yo. Like she can do like a mother can fucking do all of that shit, right? Still be somewhat upset. She can come home, clean the whole house, cook, and she still probably wouldn't say shit to your ass. like, yo, like I was telling Jasmine about that shit, like how strong women are. Like, yeah, they're very, very emotional, but yo, there's so many times where like, yo, they can just block shit out and just like not even talk about that shit and just like do their own shit. I'll be like, yo, damn, these bitches is strong, man.
I wish I had problems, bro, because like it's like we're there, and I guess it's like we're in a part of the bigger picture. Like they do everything, we just fill in the holes, like fill in the blanks, right? Like, cool. You do it. You can do. You can feed them, get them cleaned up after dinner, like, and then okay, cool. Well, I know that she probably needs to get this done. It's always like, wow. It's always like we got to think like what. It's almost like not that we're an assistant, but we're assistant like okay, cool. She's doing that. Okay, well, what else would she get done? Of course, she go full clothes. We go full clothes, unless it's something like major. But like when it comes to your day-to-day routine, like okay, cool. She's upstairs dealing with the kids. Let me go to the basement and clean up, or let me go do something else. She ain't got to do it. Like in the mornings here, like Ashley's. I wake up, unload the dishwasher. She's upstairs getting ready. She brings the kids down. Some mornings I'll just try to start cooking them breakfast. That way, when she comes down, she can eat. She get herself together. So it's like I just try to fill in the hole. So we try to lighten her load up. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think that has to. I think that's normal, but I also think that has a lot to do with the availability and the flexibility of who has what type of job, right? And the reason I say that is because, like, if you have a wife that goes into work, that whole atmosphere changes now, right? So like now she somewhat is like the assistant sometimes. And you're like, basically the person that's doing all like, yo, what things can I do to make his job easier? So that's what I'm saying. Like majority of the time it is the woman, but sometimes it could change up. But I think it has a lot to do with the availability of people's jobs, because sometimes women's jobs are a little bit more demanding and they got to be the one out the house first or do what they got to do and then kind of assist you. But I hear what you're saying too. It's kind of like, yo, they're doing the main thing. It's like, yo, what can I do to basically fucking be an apprentice or something?
Yeah, it's crazy to say. It's mad weird to say like that, but
it's true though. I never thought about it like that, but that is true. It's like an apprentice type shit. Like,
cool. So like when I leave, so like when Ashley goes away, it's like, all right, cool. She'll call my ass every 5 minutes, make sure shit's done. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and women be so afraid to leave the crib because we just some filling the whole ass niggas. Like we just, hey, okay, cool. You need this done. I'm gonna go downstairs and clean up. I'm gonna go hang this picture up that I've been trying to hang up for 6 months. I don't even know why the fuck I'm doing it, but I'm doing it anyway because you've been yelling at me about it. Or I'm gonna go full clothes because I get some quiet time. Like I hate folding clothes, but if it comes out of me getting some quiet time and it benefits everybody in the house, bro, I'm in that bitch folding shirts like I'm back working at fucking Nordstrom, my boy. My shit's looking right. You know what I mean? I'll take my time until I get that shit done. But yeah, yo, this shit's crazy. Like so back to the Facebook post. It's a wild thing to ask. Is it more difficult to be a father than a mother? But it's so neck and neck that it's like only certain very small situations where it's like for a man it could be more difficult. Would you agree?
No. I'm just gonna say it's a tie, man. I gotta just say it's a tie. It's tough for these guys. It's tough for these women.
I'm gonna say it's a tie. It's a tie, but the only difference is the pressures that we get. As far as like the certain pressures, like if we don't do something right the first time, I kind of agree with that statement. But if remove that from the situation, I think it's neck and neck too. Man. All right,
listen, man. We killed that shit, man.
I know they tired of hearing us talk right now. They ready to get on with their Friday morning and shit. But hey guys, thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys again very soon in the next 7 days. So holla at y'all then.
Peace.
Peace.